I don't know how to put this, but I'm kind of a big deal.
Attention all personnel! Drop your flasks and grab your masks.
Happy Monday evening, everybody. I'm here. How about you? Where are my pine cones at? Yeah, if you're over on the Dysfunctional Veterans Facebook group, we call each other pine cones because Facebook bans us for saying what we actually call each other. Speaking of which, I did an open house this weekend and a bunch of people through. It was great, but one of them, she was a Navy veteran, and like there were people there as she was leaving, and she's like, "Oh, you're an Air Force vet." I'm like, "Yeah, what were you?" "Oh, I was Navy." "Oh, you squid." You know, we're just having a good time, right? So as she's leaving, as she's going through the front door and there are people standing there, she says, "Thank you for your service." I'm like, "Thank you for your support." Damn you. My brain couldn't process fast enough the Golf Foxtrot Hotel. I could have totally done that, but yeah, no. She caught me off guard. You win that one, Squiddy. You win that one. Anyhow, my focus is off. What's going on here? I don't know what's going on with the camera. Let's see here. Let's do the happy thing and see if I can get it to refocus by saying, there we go. We'll see if I can force focus on that. No, my camera just doesn't want to focus. This is my little placard here that I love. It says, "I just want to sip coffee and pet my dog." It's true. That's what I want to do. That's all I want to do, man. But instead, here I am hosting yet another Military Monday. But that's okay. We're gonna have a good time. Got some good stuff for you tonight. VA loan stuff, just a little tiny smattering. Taxes, because taxes is a thing, and some stuff from the American Legion, talking about some of the upcoming changes that they're proposing to VA healthcare, which is timely for me because I have my doctor's appointment tomorrow with the VA. Not looking forward to that. Just shrug their shoulders and go, "I don't know what's wrong with you. What do you want me to do?" I don't know, man, like your job? Anyhow, fair warning, you can chat from wherever you're at. They may not show up if you're commenting on YouTube. People on Facebook aren't going to see it and vice versa. The only platform I am not live streaming tonight is Rumble because they're a pain in the ass to set up. You've been warned. Like, you're still here. I'm going to cuss from this point forward. I don't really care. I don't give up. Oh, wait, where is it? There we go. That's the mood I'm in. It's been a day and I gotta go to the VA tomorrow. Anyhow, let's pop over here real quick and there we go. I got two controls that look the same. Ugh, drives me insane. It's okay. It's fixable. I just haven't sat down long enough to fix it. Happy problems, I guess. If you want to follow me someplace, do me a favor and follow me over on YouTube at /ZachKidAgent. Really means a huge, like, I was talking about this with one of my lenders today, and we were saying, like, people don't realize what a huge thing it is to get a like or to get a follow or to get a share. Or you know, any of that stuff. It's huge when you're trying to do your own thing. So, you know, support your people. I've surprisingly, for some reason at this age and stage in my life, I'm surrounded by people that do that sort of thing. And I love that. So, yeah. If you really want to help me out, subscribe to the YouTube channel. That's where I'm going to be dropping most of this content later. The rest of them, they'll just get a little smattering or, you know, shorts here and there because, well, you know, they're mean about stuff. I don't like that. Except for Rumble. Rumble's like they're more cool than YouTube. They're just quite a bit more difficult to deal with. Like, to get the stuff into it is like, really? I've had mortgages go easier than that. It's crazy. Anyhow, let's pull up this. You can chat from wherever you're at. And with that, there we go. I had to have myself. It's tea at this hour. It's decaf tea. I know, it's disappointing. It's a disappointing weak high five in a cup, but it's warm and it's not quite a hug in a mug, but it'll work. I want to be able to sleep tonight, okay? Anyhow, let's dive right into some of the good stuff. This is actually from the VA email newsletter that they send out. And this is I just clipped it from the email, where you can file your taxes for free with the IRS direct file. It's not a VA program. I thought for a second that the link was, but it's not. You just go over to directfile.irs.gov, and I'm going to copy and paste that into the Restream chat box so anybody who wants to see it can see it. There you go. Here, there you go. No matter what platform you're on, you should be able to see that one. See? Don't worry, I'm going to get back to using voice commands. I love this voice attack thing. I still do not have it configured for hardly anything, but it's still really cool. Where was I? There we go. So yeah, there's your link, directfile.irs.gov. You can file your taxes for free. Taxpayers in 25 states can file their federal taxes directly with the IRS. It's free, easy to use, accurate, secure. You can find out, you can check your eligibility. I clicked through like two steps, maybe three, to make sure that Florida was on the list, and it is. So if you're a Floridian and your taxes aren't crazy and you're under 125 grand per year, this might be a great option because it's free and it's through the IRS. So, you know, what are they going to say? Oh, you filed it with H&R. No, right with you. I have other opinions about the IRS, but I'm going to save that. Anyhow, moving on. This is from the American Legion. Great organization. If you're not already involved with them, by all means, check them out. Membership is like $99 a year. You get the coin. I do carry this with me when I do open houses, for the most part, not every time. But the American Legion does some wonderful stuff. Like I said, it's really inexpensive to join for like the entire year. You get a welcome packet. You can get a veteran service veteran service officer to help you out with filings of things. Which, yeah, I'm not even going to mention that. My wife might be watching. Anyhow, going to the American Legion. This is from last week. Legionnaire shares success of his own alternative therapy story and dealing with PTSD. I did actually skim this article. It's good stuff. So Adam R., co-host of the Tango Alpha Lima podcast. Tango Alpha Lima for you civilians. It's TAL, as in the American Legion. Yeah. Anyhow, he got in front of the committee on February 23rd during the organization's annual Washington conference. So somebody went to the greatest hive of... I really need that as a clip. It's so true. For those of you who didn't actually catch my little shorthand there, that was from Star Wars, where it was Obi-Wan and Luke standing over the city of Mos Eisley. Yeah, you'll never find a more wretched hive of villainy. Washington, D.C., same thing. Anyhow, yeah, here we go. Talk to the committee about complementary and alternative medicine therapy as a method of treating PTSD and improving mental health while stemming off suicidal thoughts. Which, look, if you're a veteran and you don't know about the 22 until none, 22 veterans a day unaliving themselves, which the number fluctuates from year to year. It's a lot more last year. Anyhow, yeah, these are really big issues, and I'm glad that they're going to Washington and tackling these as best they can. They've got a nonprofit coalition of more than 50 organizations that advocate for increased research and safe, affordable access to psychedelic medicine and assisted therapies for veterans and their family members. They don't want you just going out in the woods and picking your own shrooms, I guess, which is fine. Not my cup of tea, but some people out there swear by them. Cool, good for you. Anyhow, he praised them. He served as an Apache helicopter pilot in Operation Iraqi Freedom, flew more than 400 combat hours, a bunch of other good stuff here. But anyhow, faced transitioning out of the Army because of his traumatic brain injury and PTSD sustained in combat. This is the part of the story that really hits home for a lot of us. In 2015, when I was transitioning out of the Army, this was the first time I did take notice of what the suicide rate was among veterans, Marr said. The reason I became more aware of this was because my older brother, a Special Forces Green Beret, was medically retired. As an elite performer, being able to speak 4 languages, run through walls, a breacher on his team, all of a sudden calling me on the phone crying, wondering why I couldn't keep it together. Yeah, having his purpose taken away from him. I hear that from a lot of my fellow veterans. We may not have enjoyed the entirety of the process, but we knew basically where we stood, and we had a purpose. Warheads on foreheads. It's a thing. Anyhow, he said his brother's new reality was 13 symptom masking medications being taken daily. Thanks, VA. I don't ever, like, every time I'm watching, like, I can't even watch cop shows anymore, but they're like, do you have any drugs in the vehicle? Because, you know, they're targeting drug dealers in this area. I'm like, go over to CVS, Greens. They're drug dealers. They just got a legal license to do it. VA, 13 symptom masking medications. Go talk to them. Somebody else got a little of God's own favorite herb in his pocket. No, leave him alone. Anyhow, that was the VA, that was what the DOD, and that was what the military medical system prescribed him. Yeah. Anyhow, began looking elsewhere for alternative treatments and found one in California, a neurorestorative protocol for TBI. Undergoing the treatment program, Mars' brother began to improve. That led to the pair founding Warrior Angels Foundation, a nonprofit focused on bringing the treatment to other veterans. And this telling people you can heal your brain and the science behind it, Mars said. He also wrote a best-selling book that got turned into a feature documentary, but it wasn't about becoming a best-selling author or about making an award-winning documentary. It was about trying to get the information that saved my brother's life from becoming one of those statistics out of the rest of the community. There you go. That's why we do it. The rest is great. Like, cool. Best-selling author. Awesome. Got a documentary. Awesome. Don't care. Am I helping people? That's what matters. But anyhow, there's some other like really good content in here, but you totally need to go check this out if you're interested. And I am going to copy and paste that into the chat for a couple of reasons, because when I go to do the show notes on this later, it's easier for me to find all of this stuff. So, but yeah, there's hope out there for you. There's help. It doesn't have to be 13 medications from the VA or, you know, whoever your normal drug dealer of choice is. There are other things. Investigational drugs. There you go. And moving on, something else the American Legion is great about. One of my favorite topics, Legion site visits to veteran housing programs, an opportunity to give back. There we go. Let's see if I can pitch that one correctly. Members of the Legion family toured 3 DC area veterans housing programs during Washington conference. God bless these people for going to Washington, D.C., because like my wife keeps talking about, hey, cool. Just nudge me when all of the politicians and stuff are out of there, because I will lose it on somebody. And it's not unjustified. Anyhow, bring them some sort of donation. This year, okay. Group visits were to Fendel House and Access Housing in DC's Southern Veteran Service Center in DC, as well as Unity in the community in Fort Washington, Maryland. So yeah, three nearby communities. And this is what I like. The goal of doing these from the very beginning was not just to participate in the events that we have, but to give back to the community we're in, Nelson said. We're here every year for our Washington conference. I know we're going to Capitol Hill. We're fighting for a good cause, but are we giving back to the community? See, that's good people there. We're showing up. We're doing what we're supposed to do, but are we really doing everything we can do? That's why I like the Legion. Goal was giving back to the community and give Legion family members an opportunity to actually see what we're doing and inviting them to be a part of it. A bunch of other stuff. You're at ground level, you're at the user level, you're actually seeing the results of your labor firsthand when you go down to individual that is homeless. It's true. Like it's a whole different ball. Like when people talk about homelessness, it's a general fuzzy concept. You go talk to an actual vet who is homeless. So yeah, once you get a personal connection, like you actually know Joe. Yeah. Also accompanying the staff were from the group. Also accompanying the group were staff from the nonprofit Disabled Veterans National Foundation, who handed out blankets and hundreds of comfort bags across the 3 stops. See, that's good work right there. Bags contain socks because, you know, take some Motrin, drink some water, and change your socks. Got to contain socks. And personal hygiene products. It was the second collaboration between the Legion and DVNF, with a similar effort taking place last year in New Orleans. At each stop, Legion contingent learned about services provided at each facility and were able. Hats off to them, but I ain't taking my hat off right now. Tea, Earl Grey, hot. Let's take a look at the mortgage rates if you're actually in a better spot than being homeless. Or, maybe you are homeless and you're in shape to buy a home. Never know. Right now, things are trending down. This is good. Mortgage rates are trickling down. And actually, I posted this video up this week that I had a sign that we are officially into a buyer's market. And the statistics don't necessarily bear it out quite yet. Blah, blah, blah. The reason I can tell that we are officially into a buyer's market is because I had not one, but two listing agents, that's the people who work for the sellers, call me because my buyer client and I had toured their properties in the past month. And they're like, hey, have they found a place yet? Would they be interested in circling back? We've improved the price on this place. How would you feel about playing Let's Make a Deal on this? Now, mind you, one of these was a really big company, and they have a lot more horsepower to use the statistics, like up to the minute, data kind of stuff, to say, hey, we've hit this break point. We need to adjust our strategy to do this. They're a very good leading indicator rather than a lagging indicator, because stats are always a month behind. When the bigger name companies that have, this kind of stuff going for them, when they're doing that reach out, it's no longer a seller's market, period. And somebody on one of the platforms I posted that up on, it was TikTok. They're like, oh, it's just no more realtor hype. I'm like, that ain't hype. That's the status of the market and just a smidgen of hope. It's hope, not hype. So the reason that it's a big deal is we've been in a pretty solid seller's market for about the past decade. There's no getting around it. 2007, 2008, worst market crash in the past 60 years before that. The Great Depression, that's its own beastie. But yeah, 2007, 2008, that was just tremendous. And if you want to know a little bit more about it, you haven't watched the movie yet, go see The Big Short. It's available on some streaming platforms. Just go watch it. It's great. Very well presented too. So, but yeah, one of the points that I make about this is if you look at if you bought at the absolute top of the market in 2007-ish, and you want your home value was whatever it was, and you held on through the dip. It took about 6 to 7 years before it recovered its value and went past it. So, and that was a huge buyer's market. There were decent homes selling for $25,000. Those days are long gone. But yeah, that was a huge buyer's market. People couldn't sell the places, and they were short. It was pandemonium there for a long time until the market sorted itself out. And it took about 5-6 years before things seemed like they might be sorted out. All right, cool. And since then, 2020, 2021, insane seller's market. That was if you were a listing agent, hey, I'm going to sell your property, you didn't even bother to own signs, because you're not going to get that sign in the yard. You're going to click post on the MLS. Half an hour later, you're going to start getting offers coming in. If you leave it up there for 2-3 days, you're going to have 15 offers. Then your seller's going to go, which of these do I like to buy? It's a pain. It was such a feeding frenzy. It was a pain to deal with as a listing agent, as a seller side. But that's shifted, because now properties are staying on the market 3, 4, 5, 6 months. Officially, 5 to 6 months has always been the guideline on it. But when listing agents are reaching out and calling because they want to sell a property, congratulations, you're right back in buyer market territory. Buyers, and part of where I want to emphasize on this, I'm going to say about a year ago was about the last time that it was that this was very prevalent. Things softened a ton last year and slowed down, but about a year ago, it was one of those scenarios where, you know, you'd come see a property and the listing agent would be like, "That's the offer you're bringing," and you're like, "Yeah, it's, you know, full list price, no contingencies except for an inspection." I can't believe you'd bring this to me. Now we're a year later. And they're like, "Please bring that client back. We'll play Let's Make a Deal." That's a huge shift. And look, I'm not saying that all listing agents are like that. I'm saying a lot of them can be very ego driven. Of course, I got a property listed right now too. That's not how I roll. But there are those that's what it's all about. Just, you know, their ego and how much they can flex. And it's great to see them humbled. To go, "Oh, well, you know, if we want to sell this property, I'm actually going to have to be nice to buyers and buyers agents." And as a buyer's agent, which I'm working with buyers right now, it's really nice to be able to go, "Hey, look, I know this is what you got it set out for, but we need some concessions over here." And have listing agent go, "All right, cool, I'll work it." That's beautiful. That's beautiful. So if you happen to be on the buy side, or you've been sitting on the sidelines waiting, going, "I don't know, man, mortgage rates are still kind of high, prices are still kind of high, houses are still kind of, you know, going kind of fast. I don't know if I want to get into that kind of a scenario, or that, you know, like that's kind of rough." You best be thinking about how to get off the bench. Mortgage rates are trickling down. And again, Military Monday, I get to call what I'm talking about here, which is great. I love it. But actually, I want to make sure that, yeah, okay, good. That is showing correctly on the screen there. Look at that 30-year VA. The only thing that tracks a couple of points close to it is either the 30-year FHA. That's usually the one that I use as the ballpark there, and the 15-year fixed. So, yeah, I mean, 15-year fixed, that's pretty aggressive payback for a lot of people. But look, FHA 6.13, 30-year VA 6.16%. That's down 0.30 basis points in a month. Down, like the rest of these, they're all trending about a third down, except for the ARM, which, okay, you know, yeah, I'm not a lender, but ARMs are adjustable rate mortgages. There are times to use an adjustable rate mortgage. Right now, we're seeing a lot of adjustable rate mortgages come due, which is crazy. Like the defaults have gone up on the adjustable rate mortgages. I'm like, 5-year adjustable rate. Wait, are you telling me somebody in 2020 bought with an adjustable rate mortgage when mortgage rates were 2.5, 2.7, 3%? What the hell kind of rate break are you going to get there? Because an adjustable rate mortgage is like, yeah, you know, mortgage rates are at, like, right now 6.3%, but, you know, we're going to give it to you at 5% for the next 5 years, and then it's going to ratchet up. That's what an adjustable rate mortgage does. It's like, oh yeah, on the entry, we're going to keep it low, and on the back end, we're going to jack it through the roof, and, you know, meet in the middle on this. Now, in a second here, I'll tell you how to make that work to your advantage. But at the end of the day, there was no good reason to have done that in 2020. None. Like, if you're getting 2.5%, how much lower are you going to get it? And how much higher can it go in 5 years? Because that's what the problem here is. If you're getting an adjustable rate mortgage, you're banking that in 5 years, it's not going to be quite as crazy. And it's going to be more, like, it could be a lot more crazy. You could have real problems in 5 years. And if you got problems at that point, everybody else got problems. They're not getting mortgages. Like, you're going to be up creek without a paddle. And we're seeing that right now. Because they are. The defaults on them have gone through the roof in the past 6 months. So if at all possible, use your VA loan. Get a 30-year VA at 6.16. That's a banging deal. But anyhow, adjustable rate mortgages, the time to use that is when you know you're not going to live in that house as long as it's going to take that adjustable rate to adjust. So if it's a 5-year and everything is lined up, you know for 100% certainty in 3 years you're bugging out of that house. Cool. Save yourself a few bucks every month. $100 a month over 3 years. That's $3,600. Okay, cool. You know, pocket an extra $4,000 and then, you know, sell the house and gain the appreciation and get the hell out of Dodge. That's not a bad game plan. And numbers, because it's easier math. But yeah, like totally consider it in those specific circumstances. But just to go in and say, oh, we'll figure it out in 5 years. Do not do that. You're going to get burned so hard. I'm not saying it's a guarantee. I'm just saying it's a potential possibility. It happens quite a bit. And when it does, it's going to hurt and you're going to be stuck. It doesn't happen all the time, but when it does, it's bad. So anyhow, this is the mortgage rates over the past, since 1980. If you think things are bad right now, 1980, a 30-year fixed was 18.2%. Oh, that hurts. Ooh, but people were still buying homes back then. It happened. So, and I'll talk about market movers here in just a minute. But yeah, let's look back. Look, November 2020, 2.39% for a 30-year FHA. Look, we're twice that right now, and it's still a good deal, especially when you look back over history. Because like 2007, we're at right around 6. 2001, look, 2000, 8% was normal. So yeah, I mean, historically, and it depends on how far back you go, but like, can you imagine buying your place in 91 going, hell yeah, I got a 9%. Like that was brag worthy because everything before there was 10. Oh, there you go. You get a 9 back in 1987. But before that, you know, 12, 13, 14, 13, 12, there you go. Where is that? There, 12.76 in March of 1983. That was a win for that era. Coming off of 18%, man, you felt like you just hit the lottery getting a 12.8. And look, you know, in the next couple of years, it went up to 14. So if you locked in there, you were solid. And now we're down here at 5s and 6s going, oh, I don't know if it's good enough. It's good enough. So let me, I do want to zoom in here to 1 year. So there you go. Back in September, October, November, or no, that's all September and October, trending at 5.5, 5.72, someplace in there, little mid to high 5s. And then it jumped up and now it's trending back down. So I think it's going to keep it, like, if the trend continues, the trend is your friend for the most part, we may get back under it, into the 5s. That'd be good. So I've seen some other scuttlebutt on that. I'm not going to dive into that on this one. But the thing to understand is you're getting a pretty good value right now. The problem, there's 3 factors. Again, I want to do an actual proper video on this, but there are 3 factors that go into the markets and the market movement. Number 1 is the mortgage rates, also based on the interest rates. If they're higher, there's obviously less demand. If they're lower, there's obviously a lot more demand. So, and then that supply and demand feeds into prices. Like supply and demand on the mortgage side, you got supply and demand on the housing side. If there's no homes on the market, you got a lot of demand, those prices are going to go through the roof. See also 2020. If you don't have as much demand, there's a lot more houses on the market, even if it is quote unquote a normal scenario. Those prices, they either stagnate or they go down. And right now we're seeing prices stagnate a little bit or even start to trend down slightly. So, and then, you know, you've got people's mortgage payments, the affordability of it, you know, because like I gotta go back a little farther. Let's go back 5 years. There you go. Back here when you're getting 2.2%, those mortgages were super affordable. Like they're great, you know, and the price points were down a little bit, but this is where the prices went skyrocketing because, you know, you had 15 people bidding on the same property. So, you know, they're paying $100,000 over list price, cash out of pocket, not caring about it. Because you're still locking in at 2.25 like that. That was amazing. So, you know, there was a lot of demand, not nearly enough supply for that. Right now, we got some supply, not quite as much demand. Interest rates are kind of holding up there, not doing a lot. These are factors, and all it takes is one little change there. All of a sudden, things can take off again. So if you're a buyer, you're sitting on the fence. Look, I'm not saying it's not going to get into an even harder buyer's market, you know, like more into the buyer's market side. It could be, you know, houses are sitting out there for 8 months before they sell. Price points start dropping significantly. That could happen. And if you're a buyer, man, you are sitting on, like, you are ready. You are in control. You can say, I want that jacuzzi put in. We don't have a jacuzzi. You better get yourself a jacuzzi if you want to sell this house. Buyers wind up in control. We're not quite there yet. I don't ever recommend this, but if you're what I refer to as lowball Larry, where you're like, fuck them, you know, I'm going to offer $100,000 under list. Look, if it's a balanced market or trending towards a seller's market kind of thing, I will not take you on as a client if you're a lowball Larry. Period. There's no point, because you're going to be throwing out stupid, ridiculous offers all day long. I got to go through the pain of having to write that crap up, only to have the seller laugh at you, throw it back in your face, and then we just repeat this process until, you know, you get bored. No, that's not worth my time. I am not dealing with lowball Larry. But if you're a lowball Larry, when we get into the more buyer's market side of things, especially if you're sitting on cash, now it makes a lot more sense. And look, you can throw out an insulting offer. They can counter. That happens all the time. You can say, oh yeah, I know this is a $1 million place, but I think I'm going to offer him 600. God, yeah, that's cringy. But you don't know if you don't ask. You know, I have to take a very balanced approach on that. And if they go, well, you know, we could deal with, say, an 825 offer. We might be able to do an 825 offer. Oh, how about 550? Okay, Larry, you're fired. That's all there is to it. Like, I'm not playing that stupid game. But if you go, you know what about 775? All right, cool. Like, at least you're going in the right direction. You get a great deal. They're still happy. Everybody's happy. Cool. That's worthwhile. But if you're just throwing it out there just because you got nothing better to do, we're not going to play that game. So, but on the other hand, like, if you need to get financed, you can still get financing now. It's still available. If what everybody was saying about the market crashing, well, I shouldn't say everybody, there's a few people out there that are permanently on the, I'm just waiting for the market to crash. You best be sitting on a fucking war chest. Period. Because unless you've got, say, $500,000 in cash, you ain't getting fuck all. Nobody is playing that game. I'm going to tell you why. Go back and look at trying to get a mortgage in 2010. Unless you showed up with 100% cash and bought the property, they weren't going to give you a mortgage on what you spent on the property. You couldn't get it. Lenders weren't lending. It was a rainstorm. Why the hell are they going to throw out umbrellas? They're not going to. Sunny day, you can get an umbrella. If it's rainy, you're not going to get an umbrella from them. Ain't happening. So, if you're sitting on a war chest, you want to wait until the market crashes, which could be 30 more years. More power to you. If, on the other hand, you actually want a house that you can live in and build some equity from here to there, now is not a bad time to be hopping on it. And look, I'm not saying you have to buy this week. I'm saying get your pre-approval. I got awesome VA lenders. I'd be happy to introduce you to any of them. They're all phenomenal. I've actually got a couple nationwide too. But at the end of the day, having that pre-approval letter in your hand, that involves getting a financial colonoscopy. They're just going to make that very clear. Don't expect to just show up and go, hi, my name's Joe. Oh, here you go, Joe. No, it doesn't work like that. No, they need to know. They need to be able to prove that you make this much in income, that this is your credit score, this is what your bank accounts look like sometimes. All of that stuff goes into actually giving you a proper pre-approval letter. And if they didn't do that, they're just fucking with you. They're giving you bullshit. Don't deal with that. But go through that entire process. Get yourself a solid pre-approval lender from a solid lender. And then you can go, all right, now we can shop. It's like loading up your camera with film. I want to go take a picture of a deer. Let's load it up with film. Let me put the good lens on there that I want to have. I'm going to go out into the woods. I'm going to find out where the deer are hanging out at. I'm going to leave the camera ready. And when a deer walks in front of the lens, I'm going to push the shutter button. That's all you should have to do at that point. If you go, yeah, the deer are out here. I need to go back and get a battery and an SD card. And fuck you. You're not getting any place on stuff. Don't do that shit. You're wasting everybody's time. Go get your pre-approval letter. Solid financial colonoscopy. Written in stone from a reputable lender. And just because it's a big name bank does not mean it's a reputable lender. And then go out and see what's out there. You never know. You may find your dream home out there. And just because you don't think you're in great shape doesn't mean you, like most everybody I talk to is like, oh yeah, my credit score isn't that good. And it winds up being like a 710. And I'm like, you realize the VA, like the VA loan program from the government, literally there is nothing in the stuff that establishes the VA loan that says that there is a minimum credit score. Nothing. Now, individual lenders, like once you get under 580, it gets really hard to find a loan program. They are out there. The lowest I've heard of so far is 540 credit score getting approved. But, you know, they had other financials that made up for it. But, yeah, it's like they knew, Congress knew we were going to fuck up our credit. They knew we were going to go out, hey, I'm fresh out of boot camp. I need to get myself a fancy Camaro with 29% interest, marry a stripper, and then divorce her 6 months later and have her take half my paycheck. They knew we were going to fuck that up. So use your VA loan. It's a good thing. All right, I've ranted about that enough. Let's move on. Anyhow, you're getting good rates on a VA loan right now. Hey, if you do need to go out and make some more money, horrible segue, I know. You've got the Small Business Development Center. I met one of the reps at a meet and greet kind of event here. It was in Clearwater. I'm not going to say exactly where. Awesome people, though. And they are very, very good about helping you launch businesses. And in this case, we're talking about veteran-owned businesses. Hold on. Select. Copy. Paste. Send. Haha. There we go. I need to bring the little ticker back up. You can chat from wherever you're watching at. And where'd we go? There we go. Veteran-owned businesses, converting your military experience to business ownership. While in the military, you developed vision and set of strategic goals, both essential skills for owning your small business. Let's be completely brutally honest. There were some people in the military that actually enjoyed taking orders. The rest of us were like, the first words out of our mouth are you fucking, you know, hey, we're going to eat this bowl, this giant vat o soup with a fork. The hell's wrong with you? So yeah, that was a problem. And a lot of us have backlash when we get out of the service. It's kind of like, you know, always got to have a short haircut and you get out and grow your hair out. Or, you know, grow a beard or something. So yeah, it's the same thing. Like we get out, we don't want to necessarily deal with orders. Big part of it is our mentality because we're built to improvise, adapt, and overcome. I don't care. You don't have everything you need. We need to fix this and go do this thing. You figured it out. You've got all of the skills to be an entrepreneur. Whether or not you got the drive or the idea, whatever, but I've had, including myself, I know plenty of people who flamed out trying to transition from military life to civilian world because you get into a corporate environment and you're like, okay, everybody's stupid. Nobody's doing anything. You told us to take this hill. I left you the pile of dead bodies at the bottom. You got the hill. What'd you want? Well, that was a 5-year strategic initiative. Cool. Got it done in 3 hours. What's next? It does not work well when you're trying to work for a corporation. but it is brilliant if you're going to open your own business. Small Business Development Council can help you with that. Got all the discipline necessary for such a venture. Having a professionally certified business consultant along the way can be an additional asset. There you go. Got a guide. Expert consultants at the SBDC at USF can assist you with becoming a certified veteran-owned business. I mean, I'm certifiable, but grippy socks. Government contracting, cool. I don't know if you want to deal with it. I mean, it's lucrative, but you still got to deal with the government. Hey, why didn't you give us that page that said this page intentionally left blank? Because it's not supposed to be there. It's supposed to be a blank page. Of course, I didn't include the blank page that says, yeah. I don't want to deal with that, but maybe you do. Growth acceleration services, cool. Import-export plans, olive oil. Marketing strategies and capital access for veterans. Yeah, that one's hard trying to get. We just talked about how fucked up veterans credit is, but you can still get capital if you need to. Yeah, as long as you're working in a business scenario. All of these services are available through no-cost confidential consulting. In addition, many of our consultants have their own military background to draw on. Awesome program. If you're thinking about starting a business, you already got an existing business going, and you're a veteran, connect with the SBDC. And the links in the chat should be pushed out to as many platforms as it'll push out to. So, and if you have a great business idea, this one actually came up through my AI newsletter about AI, not a newsletter built by AI. I'm sure they use it to build it too. Yeah, you've got Helix. You can build clickable, investor-ready app prototypes in just 3 minutes. For first-time founders, generate clickable prototypes with AI. No design skills required. Generate for free. Generate your user flows, review menus, there you go. Streaming apps, e-com apps, stock investment portfolio, quick commerce, yeah, really, you can design all sorts of stuff from here. Accelerate your journey from idea to prototype to pitch. Refine your idea to perfection. There you go. Your idea, refining your application. Build your own ultimate prototype. I'm telling you right now, I might be using this platform to design my own thing I've been working on. Pitch product to investors, which is awesome, and get three times more investor interest with a functional prototype. 36% of startups credit prototypes for funding. 50% of founders receive more funding with prototypes. 40% average reduction in total development time. There you go, good numbers. Validate your idea, create clickable prototypes, unlock gorgeous visuals, and accelerate your launch. What founders are saying, they got plenty of good testimonials here, and yeah. So if you've got a techie idea or something that does translate to a techie idea, because yeah, I'm going to take you in the Wayback Machine here, way back, and well, from 1995 and before that. There were some big name companies out there that were everybody knew them. Sears, Montgomery Ward. Those were huge. There were others that operated in that category, but Sears and Montgomery Ward, which actually I found this out, Montgomery Ward predates Sears by 15 years, but they had the Sears catalog, notorious for being outhouse reading material, because when you were done, they were printed on fine enough paper that you could use them to do what you need paper for in an outhouse. But anyhow, Sears and Montgomery Ward, there were a bunch of others out there. They were mail order businesses. You could mail order pretty much anything from there, including houses. There are Sears branded houses that were built and are still standing. Where everybody screwed up was when technology came into play. They're all like, no, still, we're going to send out big, thick catalogs and people can order from the catalog. Until one day, this really geeky guy looked at it and went, man, if you just built a website to do the same shit, you know what? I'm just going to build a website doing that with books, because shipping books is cheaper because it's media mail. They charge me less to ship books, and that's less I got to charge the customer. I'm going to do it with books, proof of concept, and I'm going to go on with it. That was Jeff Bezos, whatever. Yeah, he saw Montgomery Ward's Sears catalog, mail order businesses. Look at this newfangled thing called the internet. I could do the same thing, and nobody has touched that market. There you go. you now have the capability to digitize something that has been analog forever, that other people have been sleeping on. Maybe you get something that's just a digital potential product. But yeah, I mean, like, if you got it, go do it. And when you cash that out and you're a multimillionaire and you want to buy a mansion, I can help you with that. Anyhow, yeah, let me grab this here real quick. No, there we go. Copy and paste. If you want to go check that out, it's there you go. Links in the chat now. Went out to Twitch, YouTube, and Facebooks. I guess I went to all the Facebooks. Yeah, no shit, Rumble. You didn't get to connect. Here we go. More stuff from the American Legion. Commander to Congress. Change the narrative. Thank you. American Legion Commander James LaCourse delivers testimony before a joint hearing of the House and Senate Veterans Affairs Committee. And this one, a lot of love in my heart for this one. Change the narrative and improve the he called on Congress to change the narrative and improve the transition process for veterans. Yeah, because it needs to be improved. Young people have been told military service will leave them broken or unsupported in the end, will think twice about their propensity to serve at all. Look, I knew they were going to fuck me up. I was just young and, ate up and didn't really give a shit. And when I got out, I'm like, fuck, I'm broken. And the only response I got was, yeah, and? That sucked. And it's a matter of national security. Yeah, because if you can't get people to go in the military, not gonna have much military left. Grave concerns, blah, blah, blah. How they're going to impact veterans. Here we go. During his opening remarks, Le Corsaire pointed to waste and electronic health records management as an example of government inefficiency. How the fuck can electronic records management be wasteful? I mean, mind you, you got to pay for the data storage and, the programs and that kind of shit. Like, I get that part. But that's the whole point of having it digitized. You don't have paper files to fuck with. You don't have to deal with paper storage. You don't have to worry about cross-referencing shit. It's digital. Shouldn't be a big deal. Billions of our taxpayer dollars have been spent on this. The result has been delays, unsuccessful pilot programs, flawed infrastructure, and continued inability of the Department of Defense and VA to make a transition as seamless as possible for those leaving service and entering their lives as veterans. Damn straight. Get that DD-214 issued to you, should push your records right over to the VA, period. You should already be enrolled in all of the VA's programs. Like, that's how it should be. Hey, thank you for your time and service. Here's your DD-214. You're already signed up for all the VA stuff, and somebody will be reaching out to you within the next week. That's how that should be. And I tell this horror story every once in a while. Fuck it, I'm going to tell it again tonight. When I got out of the military, they're like, yeah, all you got to do is take your DD-214, hard copy, paper, or a copy of it, down to the VA and register with them, and you can get in on the VA healthcare system. And I went, sweet. Got out the military, had some other stuff to do. Obviously, not going to do it your first week, but I think it was like 3 weeks after I got home. Something like that. Whatever it wasn't a huge amount of time. And I went down to Bay Pines and went up to the front desk. I'm like, look, when I was getting out, they told me I could take my DD-214 here and register so I can get in with the VA system. Where do I go to do that? And I don't know who was working behind the counter, but they're like, you don't belong here. Get out. Like, I'm sorry if I offended you. I just need to know where to take my paperwork to get registered to use VA services. And they said, you're causing a problem by being here. You need to get out or we're calling security. I'm like, just point me in the right direction. Give me a phone number or something. They called security over. I got escorted out. I was like, man, I will die in a motherfucking ditch before I ever go back into the VA. And then 18 years later, they're like, hey, you can do it online now. I'm like, well, they can't fucking arrest me if it's online. And here we are. Good times. It was not a smooth transition out of the military for me. I'll put it that way. So I would love to see it as streamlined and as seamless as possible. And for those of you who served back when I did, prior to, 2000 era, I'm a grandpa. I had BDUs and totally shined boots. It was terrible, I tell you. But for those of you who served when I did, I've actually got a comic strip saved. I didn't plan on deploying it right now. But, it was like, your back's fucked up. like, you could be in the field and have your back snapped in half, and I need to go to the medic. Fuck you, get up, give me some push-ups, get your ass back over there and do what you're supposed to do. And it's like, no, seriously, medic, bones poking through the skin. Fuck you, get up. All right, that's what you did. And then, you know, there's a few other choice words thrown in there at your general direction. And then past that, it was like, you go to the hospital for something and they just be like, why are you here? And you're like, the bone's poking through the skin. Do you not see this? We don't deal with that here. And they just kick you out. They wouldn't even document it. And like, I cannot, unless you had your wisdom teeth, they'd yank them bitches in a heartbeat. They wouldn't even let you get in processed on the base. Here come dentist, like, just sit down for a minute, pop those things out. You didn't need those. It was rough back then. Not nearly as rough as what happened with my dad's generation. That's a different story for a different day. So yeah, I'm glad that they are at least trying to modernize some of this. We made great progress with passage of the Dole Act. I'm incredibly grateful to the American Legion. There you go, for getting support in getting this bill across the finish line. Veteran services will not be impacted by the firings. Good. Nor should their benefits be touched. Like if they're spending $15 million on artwork at the VA, and put that money to good use to actually fix some veterans. Yeah, I don't need $15 million to fix me. A few thousand to do it. Which, you know, look, I'm telling you right now, I'm glad. There's a huge part of me that's like, please and I say this understanding what the implications could be. There'd be a lot of people out of work, but I don't necessarily see that as a bad thing because of the shit that all my fellow brothers and sisters have been through on this stuff. Instead of funding billions of dollars to the VA, please just let us go to community care. Take that funding, say, here's your veterans card, go to community care, get done what you need to get done. You need to file disability and have those claims verified. They can do that too. Just cut this third-party government entity out of the picture. Because I'm telling you, the problem I had last year, which I am not going into detail, the VA drugged their feet for months. And every time I call, oh, nope, can't deal with that. Nope, see you in 6 weeks. Paid out of pocket to go see a civilian doctor. He's like, here's your checklist of shit you need to do. Do you want me to schedule you an appointment to get that done this week? And I'm like, say what? It was night and day. And I swear, I still don't think they got my problem resolved. We're going over a year now. I've been waiting for the VA to fix me. Civilian doc would have had it fixed in 2 to 3 weeks. Because like, that's the time frame he was looking at. Please take all of the money that you have fucked around with at Bay Pines over the past year and a half for these fuckers to stick their hands in their pockets and go, I don't know. Send me over to my local Baycare doc, because he was fucking great. I don't think that's too big of an ask. If you cannot fix the system to fix us, fix the system so we can find people who can fix us. So anyhow, yeah. Senator Tammy Duckworth of Illinois referenced the case of 2 veteran crisis line workers that she helped reinstate after being fired on Valentine's Day. Wonder why they were fired on Valentine's Day. Perhaps they fucking deserved it? Maybe some veterans called up and were like, I'm having a really rough Valentine's Day. It's the first one without my spouse, and, you know, whatever, it's Valentine's Day, and just hang up on them. Like, those people deserve to be fired. I'm not saying that's what happened, but I'm not saying that's not what happened. We all know it. I finally, this week, I saw somebody on one of the veterans groups say that they did have a good experience calling the Veterans Crisis Line. That's one against about 10 that they either got hung up on or told that they couldn't cuss and hung up on. Like, really? First of all, it's a crisis line. Secondly, it's a crisis line for veterans. Maybe understand your audience is going to drop an F-bomb. That's all there is to it. Anyhow, President Trump and Elon Musk firing all these Veterans Affairs employees is not helping the cause. Yeah. I'm honestly, I'm kind of okay with them getting fired. If they're dead weight, they don't belong there, and we can use those budgets to take care of our other veterans. I think every few days we're learning something about something new and trying to determine how it will potentially impact veterans, so we can assist this committee and VA in mitigating those impacts. We are encouraged by the number of exemptions that the VA has announced for the VA, VHA, VBA, and Veterans Board of Appeals. We've been told by career officials at the VA, not politicals, that they were happy with what they called a liberal exemption policy and will continue to work with you and Legionnaires on the ground to identify those potential impacts and bring them to you in the VA as soon as possible. So, yeah, I mean, like, that's the thing. The Legion is like, we're taking care of veterans. That's what the Legion does. That they're 100% focused on, we need to take care of veterans. I don't know about y'all. I do not feel like that is the mission of some of these other organizations or individuals. I can say confidently, though, the American Legion, they got one job. They know what their mission is, period. And I can support that. If you want to support that, go over to legion.org. Paste that in the chat, make my life easy. Boom, there you go, legion.org, and you can join the American Legion. Totally worthwhile organization. Love them. Yeah, here's another one for, did I? Oh, I did not cover this one yet. Same thing. Marks delivered during the Commander's Call preview of his appearance before Congress on Wednesday. Dressed to join, yeah, blah, blah, blah. Here we go. When I speak before Congress on Wednesday, this was last week, 2 weeks ago, I plan to discuss the propensity to serve. What is it inside young Americans that helps them decide, often against their own interests, comfort, and career opportunities, to join the military and defend us? Why leave the community and neighborhood of your family, friends, classmates, and neighbors to move hundreds or thousands of miles away so you can be subject to tough physical exercise, harassment by drill instructors, and a requirement to surrender many of your personal freedoms? The man's got a good point, doesn't he? It's a matter of pride, love for your country, and the knowledge that the military service is honored and respected by all our fellow citizens. And yeah, 99% of the veterans I met believe that that if you help their family, you are helping them. That's why the last request of so many heroes dying on the battlefield is to express their love to a spouse, child, or parent. Quality of life and veterans benefits are not just programs for those that wore the uniform, but those that sacrificed on the home front as well. Thank you. Not just taking care of the veterans, but also taking care of their families, which is really what all we veterans want. I mean, look, we knew we were disposable. You better take care of my family. Anyhow, yeah. We see the war within, which contributes to more than 6,000 veterans taking their own lives every year. There's your 22 until none. We see the need for the military to improve its transition assistance programs. Yeah, because mine was shit. I don't know what yours is. I mean, we're talking 25 years later. I don't know if it's still shit, but mine was shit. And ensure those preparing to separate from service have smooth and soft landings. I got thrown out of a 747 with no parachute and not over the water. We see the frustration many veterans experience when in trying to obtain quality health care and believe strong, responsive, well-funded VA is the best solution. I don't know, man. Farm us out to community care. That would be a better solution, I think. Not that all civilian doctors are great, but at least you can say, oh, you suck, I'm going to take my business elsewhere. With the VA, you're like, you suck. Too bad. We also see veterans in remote areas and can be better served through strong community care options. Yeah, we see the need for a military that has the best training, the best resource, and best firepower in order to deter and defeat adversaries. So yeah, this is another big one for me. We see the National Guard and Reserve members whose service isn't fully recognized when they attempt to use their GI Bill benefits. It's true. A day of service should equal a day of service regardless of whether the orders were issued by the Secretary of Defense or the state's governor. Yes, 100% correct. Done. And another thing with the VA loan, it's you can get a VA loan being Guard and Reserves. It's there. The guidelines are there. But I really do think it should just track the same or very similar to a full active duty. That, hey, you got your 90 days during wartime? Cool. I don't care if it took you 3 years to get 90 days. You got your 90 days. You're good. Period. That should be it. Yeah, we see the sons and daughters of veterans who may be struggling to purchase their first homes. We have seen the popularity and success of the GI Bill education benefits accessible to family members, and believe the VA home loan transferability would be a boost to the overall economy. Yeah. If I die, let my wife and kids be able to use my VA loan. I ain't using it after that. Should be able to. Yeah, we see the need to unify this nation as never before when we mark a major milestone next year, the 250th anniversary of the founding of the United States of America. I forgot it's 250. I still remember the bicentennial. I mean, I was just a wee tyke, but oh man, that was a big, big deal. So anyhow, other great stuff. Again, if you're inclined, go hook up with the American Legion. They're wonderful. Love them, love them, love them. One more from the Legion. VA Secretary, best day for a veteran is lying ahead of us. Let's hope so. VA Affairs Secretary Doug Collins speaks during the commander's call. He's optimistic about the department's renewed focus on the veteran. And this was from February 24th, as opposed to the one I was just talking about, which was the same day. Okay, cool, cool. Different sides here. Letting people know that it's okay not to be okay. We've got to be a people that embrace those that have found time because of struggles to ask for help. Yep. Got to be the ones, that's the American Legion's thing. Be one. To do that and pull forward, which is good. Here we go. This is the big one. He also emphasized the VA's first priority: serve the veteran. You would think this would be like, it's not a difficult mission to understand or get behind. Apparently it is. It should not be. That right there should be everything. Serve the veteran. Period. That's why the VA exists. Not rocket science here. That's our only job. That's our only mission, Collins said. The veteran is back to being the only constituent of the VA. The VA itself only exists for the veteran. Hot damn good on you. Thank you. It's about time somebody said it, and somebody made a point to say it correctly. Here, this is huge. Collins said 60% of constituent calls to legislators are related to VA issues. That's too high, he said. No shit, that's too high. It should never have to be escalated to, no. But, I mean, it's very common. And it shouldn't be. He's right. It should not be common. It should never get to that level. And in the military, like, we talked about this kind of stuff, that is a failure of leadership. If they got to go over your head repeatedly, you're fucking up someplace along the line. If you got to go over the head to legislators, everybody in the system is fucked up. And that, you're right, that needs to be smacked down. That needs to be fixed or just stripped out. Period. My goal, if I had one of those overarching goals, is that anytime a service member veteran has to call a senator or congressman to get the benefits that you have earned, the VA has failed. Damn straight. DOD and VA are basically brothers and sisters, however you want to call us. We're twins. We just catch each other at different times in our careers. If we're doing right in the VA, then that helps the DOD, because then the DOD knows that the VA is okay and they can go out and recruit, and we can bring in the best and the brightest. We don't have men and children, and we don't have men and women who served that tell their children don't join just because they had a problem with DOD or had a problem in VA. It's true. Hey, all this fucked up shit happened to me. I don't care what I got to do. You're going to go to college and go find something, or go to trade school or something, but you're not joining the military. A lot of us are having that conversation with our kids. Because why would I send you off to have you come home broken and fucked up? I'm plenty fucked up for everybody in the family. So yeah, no, it's true though. And they're not going to be able to recruit the good ones because look, there's always somebody who's ate up, but Yeah, new flag policy. Yeah, limiting the displays of. I kind of dig this. VA implemented a new flag policy at its facilities, limiting displays to the U.S. flag and POW MIA flags only. Thank you. It's an effort to unify the department. We're going to make sure everybody's welcome to get the benefits they deserve. We're going to be welcoming at the VA, but we're also going to be unified at the VA. Exactly. No reason to fly any other flag, including military flags. I mean, you know, you wouldn't want the Marine Corps to get pissed off because the Air Force flag is flying on a day. Fact of life. Plus some of the other stuff that they could fly. Nope, just U.S. flag, POW, MIA. That should always be there. Yeah, reducing expenses. There are no cuts to benefits and health care for the veteran, period. It's not happening. There you go. I dig that. Program offers one-stop option. Yeah, this one's good. I totally dig this. I need to move this around a little bit so I can see something here real quick. Oh man, am I dropping frames again? That sucks. I hate that. That's all right. This is the last one. So, yeah. Program offers one-stop option to a wide range of resources for veterans. This is on the 25th. The sharing of non-VA information does not constitute an endorsement of products or services as part of the VA. Veterans should verify the information on their organization offering. Yes, standard disclaimer. You were talking about transition to civilian life comes with challenges. Yeah, like getting thrown out of the back of a moving pickup truck. Veterans Community Support Program, VCS, by Your Next Mission, provides comprehensive one-on-one support program to address the unique needs of veterans and their families, and its services range from transition, education, employment, career mentorship, financial wellness, healthcare, homelessness, mental health, suicide prevention, VA benefits, veteran special support, and veteran wellness. Hot damn, even now I don't know that we got all these programs. Right? I talk about this shit every week. Why the VCS matters? I think the list of things that they're talking about, pretty good list. It should matter. Veterans and their families should not have to face life challenges alone. VCS program provides one-stop option to tap into problem-solving assistance, and it leverages veteran service organizations to address needs across a broad spectrum, tackling life stressors to help improve overall well-being and reduces compounding distress for veterans and their families. That's a good thing, you know? You take care of and support the veterans, make their lives easier. They don't stress out so much. Go figure. Anyhow, upon enrollment, representative reach out within 1-2 business days, schedule one-on-one consultation. Rep develops a plan to address identified needs. They personally assist in problem solving or conduct an introduction with one or more partnered VSOs to address each specific need of the veteran. VCS representative remains in contact until all needs are met or assistance is no longer needed. Damn, I wonder, like, old busted gruntpaw like me, I wonder if I can get in on this. I'm going to try. Not tonight, tomorrow, but I dig it. Here, I'm going, like, that right there, that gave me warm fuzzies. Post that out for everybody to be able to take a look at, if you want to check this out yourself. And yeah, you can chat from wherever you're at, tell me what you think. Testimonials, yeah, this is a good one. VCS helped me problem solve an ongoing bank and merchant accounting discrepancy. Man, who knew they would do that? Ultimately reached out to the bank's corporate military affairs division to request additional support on my behalf. The bank's special action team looked over the case, identified the discrepancy, and gave me a permanent credit for the entire transaction amount. Damn, that's pretty impressive, because most of the time you can't get any place with a bank. Civilian to federal employment. I found Your Next Mission VCS program. Rep was efficient and knowledgeable. They connected me with an organization to coach me on how to transition my civilian resume to a federal resume that meets OPM standards. There you go. Got a Fed job. When my spouse was unable to work in the civilian sector, their team offered the resources I needed. With their help, they connected me to an organization that updated my resume, another organization that provided my family with free mental health support, and another organization that specialized in assisting veteran spouses finding meaningful employment. Their connections to veteran resources made all the difference in my family's transition, and I highly recommend their services to any veteran family member in need. Note, this is not a crisis hotline and is not intended to replace professional mental health care. If you're experiencing a mental health emergency, dial 988 and press 1. May the odds be ever in your favor. So anyhow, yeah, this looks like a really banging program. Yeah, I'm guessing. I don't see any limitations here that you have to be just getting out of the service. So I am 100% going to check into this more. And maybe if I can find a rep, bring them on an actual podcast guest. Got a few of those lining up, and a couple of lenders. I'm also working to get an insurance person because, no, not that one yet. Dang thing. There we go. Also working to get an insurance person because I found out some shocking insurance information this past week. I was very surprised to hear it. And yeah, there's like some really good info out there, and I want to be able to share that. I want it to, like, my mission, along with pretty much everybody else that I associate with, is we want to make everybody else's lives better. We want to be as positive as we can. And look, part of it's sharing my story too. I want people to know, hey, shit can be fucked up. You can still keep pushing forward. And my story is not a massive tale of woe. I know a few people that are in those positions, and hey, come on, be a podcast guest. Tell me how you overcame it though, and how what can you say that will help other people? And that's what I'm about, is trying to make things better for everybody else. And you do not have to be a veteran. You can be a veteran supporter. You don't even have to be a veteran supporter. Like, as long as you don't come up to me and say, fuck the troops. Like, if you're like, no, like, it wasn't my cup of tea, but good on you for doing it. All right, cool. We can get along, but, yeah, like, totally, like, it's okay. This is what I do. This is what I enjoy. I love connecting with people in various walks of life, various industries. If you're a supportive person who wants to help people do better and get better and achieve more, I'm all about it. Hit me up at podcast@zackid.com, and I'd love to have you on as a guest. Want to get to know you a little bit better first, phone call, something like that, whatever, we'll figure it out. But yeah, that's why I do what I do. In this case, for Military Mondays, I am always here to try and help support my veterans as best I can, my fellow veterans as best I can, and maybe give them some information they didn't know about. In a lot of these cases, I didn't even know about this stuff until I started digging to do this. I don't really call this a podcast. It's only a podcast if I have a guest. The rest of these are just long, rambling videos. So, but yeah, I'm definitely going to check out that VCS thing, because that looked pretty cool. I did post that up for y'all, didn't I? It looks like yeah, I did. One stop option. Yeah, just wanted to make sure that was out there for everybody else. But anyhow, thank you for joining me this evening. It was a long ride, but I think it was pretty good. Hour and 15 minutes. That's pretty banging as far as I'm concerned. I don't know. Let's see. Yeah. I gotta give you a good one. Oh yeah, here we go. Yeah, I talk to veterans all the time, and we're kind of like, yeah, like, at least they brought it, like, it's one of the reasons I love that movie, because all the veterans can relate to that. It's got a lot of themes and topics that we can't discuss this kind of shit normally on social media. Even though I'm live streaming on it right now, I'm sure it's going to get taken down at some point. Oh God, how dare you talk about that? Because I'm trying to be supportive and let people know it's okay. It's okay to talk about it. It's what we do. And in this case, Katsumoto, he was talking about it. That they needed that conversation. So yeah, it's good to see it represented out there, even though they had to use a completely different scenario. Good to see there was some representation there. Feel a little vindicated. Yeah. Anyhow. We've had a good time. Don't forget, I got my appointment at the VA tomorrow with my primary care. It's going to be fun. Yay, free health care. Do you have any idea what it's like to deal with VA medical?
He just keeps going and going. He's like that thing on TV with the drum in the ears.
The Energizer Bunny.
No, the commercial.
The Energizer Bunny.
No, it's with the drum.
The Energizer Bunny.
With the ears.
The Energizer Bunny!
That's it.
That's what it's like talking to my doctor. Wish me well tomorrow. Y'all have a good evening. Thanks for joining me this evening. I hope you found it entertaining, maybe even informative. If you have questions, please email them to podcast@zackkidd.com, and I'll include the response in the next live stream. Until then, I'm Zach Kidd, Realtor, Clearwater, Florida, signing off.